In an unusual twist of political and corporate dynamics, Peter Navarro, a key trade advisor to former President Donald Trump, sought to downplay tensions with tech billionaire Elon Musk following a public exchange of barbs. During an appearance on NBC's Meet the Press, Navarro affirmed everything's fine with Elon in response to Musk's recent characterization of him as a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks. Navarro's lighthearted dismissal of the situation punctuated with a laugh aimed to quell speculation about discord between two influential figures in the Trump administration. Navarro's remarks come on the heels of a CNBC interview where he discussed the differing perspectives within the Trump administration regarding trade tariffs. Musk has advocated for reduced trade barriers, while Navarro has been a staunch defender of the president's tariffs, which he sees as essential for American manufacturing. "We want the tires made in Akron, the transmissions made in Indianapolis, and the engines made in Flint and Saginaw," Navarro stated, emphasizing his commitment to bolstering domestic production. The friction between these two advisors became apparent after Musk criticized Navarro's views on tariffs, prompting the latter to retort that Musk, despite being a prominent car manufacturer, often merely assembles vehicles from imported parts. Musk's subsequent social media tirade underscored a growing chasm between the tech titan's vision and Navarro's traditional economic approach. Despite the apparent friction, Navarro maintained a facade of camaraderie, praising Musk's contributions to the administration, especially his role in the so-called Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE). This initiative aims to streamline federal operations, a project that has already faced scrutiny due to its ambitious $1 trillion savings goal, later revised down to a more modest $150 billion. Navarro lauded Musk's efforts, stating, "Elon is doing a very good job, that's a tremendous contribution to America." However, Musk's ambitious targets have drawn skepticism. Reports indicate that DOGE's progress has been marred by significant errors in its public savings reports, leading even some of Musk's supporters to express frustration. Romina Bocha from the Cato Institute noted, "They're just spinning their wheels," citing in many cases overstated or fake savings. This has raised questions about the overall effectiveness and transparency of the initiative. The backdrop to this exchange is Trump's recent announcement of a 10% tariff on goods from most countries, a move that has been met with mixed reactions. While Navarro defended this decision as a strategic pause that allows for further negotiations, the temporary delay of tariff increases has led to speculation that Musk's criticisms may have influenced the administration's approach. As tensions simmer and the political landscape continues to evolve, the relationship between Navarro and Musk will likely remain a focal point of interest, not just for their contrasting views on trade but also as a reflection of the broader dynamics within the Trump administration. The ongoing dialogue between these influential figures underscores the complexities of governance in an era where technology and traditional economic policies often collide. Looking ahead, the outcomes of their interactions could bear significant implications for U.S. trade policy and the future of domestic manufacturing. As the administration navigates its ambitious goals, the delicate balance between innovation and regulation remains as critical as ever. The coming weeks will be telling, as both advisors must reconcile their differing visions for America's economic future while facing mounting scrutiny from both the public and political spheres. In a rapidly evolving landscape of state governance and efficiency initiatives, the Iowa Department of Government Efficiency DOGE Task Force is making headlines. Born out of Governor Kim Reynolds' vision and inspired by similar federal efforts, this task force aims to enhance governmental operations and maximize the value of taxpayer investments. Representative Ray Sorensen of District 23 recently shared insights on the goals and structure of this initiative, emphasizing its focus on innovation and efficiency. The DOGE is part of a broader movement to reform state government operations following significant restructuring under Reynolds that cut 21 agencies and saved an estimated $217 million within 18 months. What it is it builds on the governor's prior efforts. Sorensen explained. The task force will concentrate on three primary objectives: optimizing taxpayer returns, refining workforce training programs, and harnessing emerging technologies, particularly artificial intelligence.
Notably, unlike its federal counterpart, the Iowa DOGE will not access personal data but will instead focus on systemic improvements.
The task force comprises 15 to 20 private sector leaders with expertise in efficiency and management alongside representatives from both the Senate and House of Representatives. Sorensen indicated that the findings from the initial meeting must be reported by late September, allowing for their incorporation into the 2026 legislative session. This timeline underscores the urgency and importance of the task force's work in shaping future policies. As the DOGE initiative unfolds, it coincides with a broader wave of efficiency movements across the United States, where nearly half of the states have either launched similar groups or are in the process of doing so. This trend reflects a growing recognition of the need for governmental reform at both state and federal levels, particularly in light of ongoing budgetary constraints and the push for effective public service delivery. In parallel to these state-level efforts, the federal DOGE has been facing scrutiny, particularly regarding its impact on cybersecurity amid significant workforce reductions. Recent reports indicate that federal layoffs are at their highest levels since early 2020, primarily as a result of restructuring initiatives that threaten to cut approximately 216,215 jobs. Such drastic measures raise concerns about the future of cybersecurity programs across federal and state agencies, particularly as budgets tighten and resources become scarce. The implications of these efficiency measures are significant, especially in the context of ongoing global challenges, including rising tariffs and geopolitical tensions. President Trump's recent tariff announcements, which include a staggering 145% surcharge on goods from China, have sparked fears among cybersecurity professionals. As companies begin to re-evaluate their budgets, there is a palpable concern that cuts to cybersecurity investments could leave critical infrastructures vulnerable to attacks. Experts warn that the economic fallout from both DOGE cuts and increased tariffs may create a perilous environment for cybersecurity. David Brumley, CEO of For All Secure, highlighted that organizations are already feeling the strain, with many forced to reduce their cybersecurity budgets in response to stock market fluctuations. This trend could exacerbate the already precarious cybersecurity landscape as companies struggle to maintain robust defenses against an evolving threat environment. The intersection of efficiency initiatives, budget cuts, and global economic pressures presents a complex challenge for state and federal governments alike. As they navigate this landscape, it remains crucial for stakeholders to remain vigilant and proactive in fostering effective cybersecurity measures while pursuing governmental efficiency. As the Iowa DOGE Task Force moves forward, its outcomes will likely serve as a bellwether for similar initiatives nationwide. The effectiveness of these reforms could set precedents for how state governments operate in the future, influencing everything from budget allocations to technological investments. The coming months will be critical in determining not only the task force's success but also its broader impact on governance and public service in the United States. In a notable shift in the electric vehicle EV landscape, General Motors (GM) recently integrated its electric vehicles, including the Chevrolet Equinox EV, into Tesla's extensive supercharger network. This development marks a significant moment not only for GM but also for the entire EV industry, as it opens the door for non-Tesla vehicles to access one of the most reliable and extensive charging infrastructures in North America. A recent first-hand experience of charging a Chevy at Tesla superchargers reveals both the advantages and challenges of this integration. For a week, I had the opportunity to exclusively charge a Chevrolet Equinox EV at Tesla supercharger stations. As the only non-Tesla vehicle at several charging locations, my experience was initially tinged with apprehension. Would Tesla owners view my presence as an unwelcome intrusion? However, I was pleasantly surprised by the camaraderie displayed by Tesla users, who were supportive and eager to assist a fellow EV driver even when one Chevrolet owner struggled with the charging process. This sense of community highlights a broader trend of collaboration as the EV market expands. Access to Tesla's supercharger network is a pivotal enhancement for GM.
especially considering the charging anxiety that many EV drivers, including myself, often face.
Tesla's supercharger network, comprising approximately 20,000 charging stations, has long been regarded as a benchmark for reliability and speed. Throughout my week with the Equinox, I experienced little to no range anxiety. The vehicle's battery consistently remained above 40%, and I never spent more than an hour at a charger, averaging a remarkable 200 miles of charge in just 45 minutes. However, the experience was not without its quirks. Setting up the Chevrolet at a supercharger required some adjustments. The Equinox's charging port is located on the front left side, unlike Tesla's rear left positioning, which necessitated some creative maneuvering. This arrangement rendered the adjacent stall effectively unusable and required me to pull into the charging spot nose first, creating a slightly awkward situation as I occupied two stalls. Thankfully, the stations were relatively quiet, and fellow Tesla drivers were understanding and accommodating. Despite the minor challenges, the use of a North American charging standard NSES adapter provided by GM facilitated a smooth charging experience overall. Although the adapter was somewhat cumbersome to latch securely onto the Equinox, this issue diminished with each successive charging session. The My Chevrolet app further streamlined the process, guiding me seamlessly through each step. Looking ahead, the implications of GM's access to Tesla's charging network are profound. This integration not only enhances the customer experience for Chevrolet EV owners but may also drive further innovation in charging infrastructure as more automakers seek similar partnerships. As GM continues to expand its public charging network, including plans for new GM Energy-branded charging hubs, the competition among EV manufacturers is likely to intensify, fostering an environment of collaboration and innovation. The recent inclusion of non-Tesla vehicles into Tesla's supercharger network is a harbinger of a transforming EV ecosystem. As more companies embrace interoperability and enhance their charging solutions, drivers can expect a more integrated and user-friendly experience in the future. With the rise of electric vehicles, the landscape of transportation is evolving rapidly, and the collaboration between major players like GM and Tesla is poised to set new standards for accessibility and convenience in the electric vehicle market. In a significant display of technological prowess and ambition, SpaceX is set to launch a new batch of 27 Starlink satellites aboard its Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral on April 13, 2025. This mission, designated Starlink 6-73, is notable not only for the number of satellites being sent into low Earth orbit but also for the Falcon 9 booster tail number 1067, which will embark on its record-setting 27th flight. This milestone underscores SpaceX's dominance in the commercial space sector and highlights the company's commitment to expanding its Starlink satellite constellation, which aims to provide global broadband internet access. The launch is scheduled for 10:34 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time 0234 UTC from Space Launch Complex 40. Launch weather officers from the 45th Weather Squadron predict a greater than 95% chance of favorable conditions, promising a smooth liftoff. This positive forecast comes on the heels of a successful launch of 21 Starlink satellites the previous night, which marked SpaceX's 41st mission of the year. SpaceX has rapidly advanced its capabilities over the past few years, with the Falcon 9 rocket now having completed 460 launches. The expected landing of the B-1067 booster on the drone ship, just read the instructions, after a short 8-minute flight, will mark the 431st successful booster landing to date. This method of reusing rockets has revolutionized space travel by significantly reducing costs and increasing the frequency of launches, a feat that has propelled SpaceX ahead of its competitors. The recent Starlink missions are not just about expanding internet access, they also incorporate cutting-edge technology aimed at enhancing connectivity. For instance, the Starlink 12-17 mission included satellites equipped with SpaceX's direct-to-cell technology, which aims to eliminate cellular dead zones globally. This advancement is part of SpaceX's partnership with T-Mobile, enabling broader mobile connectivity and further enhancing the utility of the Starlink network.
SpaceX's innovations have not gone unnoticed in the competitive landscape of commercial spaceflight. Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin is preparing for its own high-profile launch, which features an all-female crew led by Lauren Sanchez, set to take place shortly after SpaceX's mission. This launch, while less frequent in its execution compared to SpaceX, represents a significant cultural moment in the space exploration narrative. The crew, which includes notable figures such as pop singer Katy Perry and civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen, is expected to embark on an 11-minute suborbital flight. As SpaceX continues to solidify its lead in the space industry, the rivalry with Blue Origin intensifies. Both companies are vying for dominance in a sector that promises immense growth potential. From satellite communications to interplanetary exploration. With SpaceX's extensive experience and operational success, challenges from Blue Origin will need to overcome substantial obstacles to gain ground. Looking ahead, the implications of these developments are profound. As SpaceX expands its satellite network and Blue Origin seeks to carve out its niche in the space tourism market, the commercial space sector is poised for further innovation and competition. The successful execution of these launches not only enhances capabilities for internet access but also sets the stage for future advancements in space travel. As the space race evolves, it will be fascinating to observe how these companies navigate their ambitions amid growing public and governmental scrutiny over the environmental and ethical implications of their endeavors. In a landscape where technological innovation often intertwines with controversial leadership styles, Elon Musk has emerged as a polarizing figure. His recent endeavors in reshaping industries and policies have drawn both admiration and criticism, pushing the boundaries of conventional leadership. Yet as discussions surrounding his influence intensify, a growing concern arises: are we learning the wrong lessons from Musk's success? In a thought-provoking op-ed published in the New York Times, organizational psychologist Adam Grant argues that many aspiring leaders are emulating Musk's aggressive tactics rather than his visionary achievements. Musk's approach, characterized by high expectations and often abrasive interactions, has led some corporate executives to believe that intimidation is a viable leadership strategy. Mr. Musk's success is proof that it's better to be feared than loved, noted a conference attendee, reflecting a sentiment that has gained traction among those observing Musk's ascent. However, Grant contends that this interpretation of Musk's success overlooks critical aspects of effective leadership. Drawing on extensive research, he emphasizes that leadership by intimidation is not only ineffective but detrimental. For instance, studies involving NBA players demonstrate that those subjected to abusive coaching tend to underperform, while medical professionals who faced disparagement showed significantly decreased diagnostic accuracy. Belittling people doesn't boost their productivity, it diminishes it, Grant states, highlighting a fundamental flaw in the belief that aggression can drive results. Despite Musk's remarkable achievements with Tesla and SpaceX, Grant posits that these successes have occurred in spite of rather than because of his treatment of employees. The phenomenon of idiosyncrasy credit, where individuals with high status are allowed to deviate from social norms, plays a crucial role in this dynamic. Musk's ability to inspire loyalty stems more from his ambitious vision than from the harshness he often displays. Grant urges future business leaders to adopt a more humane approach, emphasizing that respect fosters a more productive and collaborative environment. In parallel developments, Musk's influence is being scrutinized not only in the corporate sphere but also in the political arena. Following his appointment to oversee the Department of Government Efficiency, Musk's aggressive budget-cutting tactics have faced backlash, with critics warning of the potential fallout from haphazard firings and lack of transparency. His management style, which some observers liken to that of a dictator, raises questions about the long-term implications of such governance in a democratic context. Simultaneously, Musk's ventures are attracting the attention of hacktivist group Anonymous, which recently launched a campaign against him, accusing him of exploiting his power and manipulating markets. This digital attack comes at a time when Musk's leadership is under fire for issues related to free speech and workplace conditions at Tesla.
As Anonymous positions itself against Musk's controversial practices, the tensions between corporate leaders and public accountability are becoming increasingly pronounced.
Amidst this backdrop, Musk remains unapologetic.
In a light-hearted exchange on social media regarding protesters calling for him to be sent to Mars, he quipped, I'm trying," reflecting his characteristic blend of humor and defiance. Yet this levity stands in stark contrast to the serious implications of his leadership style and decision-making processes.
As Musk continues to navigate the complexities of his influence over both technology and politics, the discourse surrounding his methods serves as a critical reminder. The key takeaway for future leaders should not be to emulate his fear-based tactics but to learn from the consequences that arise from such an approach. The true essence of effective leadership lies not in domination but in fostering an environment where innovation thrives through collaboration and respect.
Looking ahead, the challenge will be for emerging leaders to balance ambition with empathy, ensuring that the lessons drawn from figures like Musk are not just about achieving success at any cost but rather about building sustainable and inclusive practices that benefit all stakeholders. As the narrative around Musk evolves, so too must our understanding of what it means to lead in today's rapidly changing world.